Good evening, everyone. I'm Frank Novak, and welcome to this Senate candidate edition of Point of Reference. Tonight, a brief glimpse of the 7 candidates running for office, Republicans, Democrats, and Independents. We're talking with Bill Manzi, former Methuen mayor and city councilor and now real estate consultant. Welcome to the program, Bill.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I'd like to get right to it. We're going to try to give you as many rapid-fire questions as we can so we can get as many answers as we can. You have said containing health care costs would incentivize job creation. How would you make that work?
Well, they just passed a cost containment bill, Senate and the House reconciled it, the governor signed it. I'm hopeful that that will create the savings that they're talking about. The door is still ajar on that one. We have to see how that works. But I think that the point there is that small business in particular, but even big business, the cost of health care is a drag on creating employment, a disincentive to hiring new employees. So I think that healthcare cost containment is an issue not just for government, not just for the Medicare rolls and state healthcare costs, but for private business. And to create more employment, I think we need to lower those costs.
We talk about the 2 things that businesses are most concerned with as far as containing expenses. One is healthcare costs. The other one is energy. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Sure. I think that Massachusetts is on the right track with energy, and there's obviously some disagreements as we go forward. But I'm somebody that firmly believes that we need to make investments in renewable and clean energy. 2 factors there. I think in the years to come, we're going to see fossils go up. And I think Massachusetts has been on the cutting edge of solar, wind technology. Both creates jobs in the short term, and also I think in the medium to longer term creates a prospective energy balance for the business community that hopefully will turn out to be economical. How
do you feel about nuclear?
I am actually concerned about nuclear to the extent that at Seabrook we have some real safety issues. The concrete degradement at Seabrook and the relicensing 30 years in advance of the prospective date, I think, is a concern. But I think nuclear will have a role in the nation's future as part of our portfolio. Obviously has some advantages, but I think we need to, obviously with a technology that potentially dangerous, need to put safety first. But it should have a role in our country's future.
How would you use community colleges more effectively than they are now? They've been involved in retraining for years.
I think that it's simply a matter of doing what they're doing better. I know that the governor and the legislature came to an agreement on there was some disagreement about centralizing the community college throughout Massachusetts, centralizing their management. I think bottom line is that I think the number was 200 to 250,000 folks in Massachusetts, if they were trained properly, could step into jobs immediately. Our community college system is a critical valve in that retraining. The governor cited that number in his State of the State address and said that there is unemployment. Massachusetts doing a little better than the nation, but certainly I think that we need to do a little better at the community college level. And I think the bill that the governor and the legislature came to agree upon is a step in the right direction.
You say that we should streamline permitting, the permitting process. Can you give us 1 or 2 examples of that?
Well, I think that when I was the mayor of the city of Methuen, we attempted to do what I call one-stop shopping. One small example, we permitted a target and the movement of the Man's farm stand, a double project, in less than 120 days. I think regulatory certainty, a permitting certainty, gives businesses an ability to know when they make an investment, they're not going to be hung up for 2 to 3 years. So certainty in regulatory environment is critical, and I think you do that just by simply streamlining the process to make it easy, to make it understandable, and to make it simple. You don't have to give business everything that they want, but I think that what they're requiring and what they're asking for is certainty in that environment so that they know what they can do, they know what they can't do, and it's not going to take them 2 to 3 years where they have to pay lawyers, accountants, conservation folks. I think we need to streamline that further. We have done a good job in Methuen. I found that it was very effective.
You want to have job creation incentives for small businesses. Can you give us an example of that?
I think, government is not the creator of private sector jobs. I think that our job engine is small business. It's not government. Having said that, I think that we talked about healthcare earlier. I think we need to make it easier to hire folks. And I think that what we've seen throughout the country is that the expense of hiring folks, whether it be unemployment insurance rates that create a disincentive for business, whether it be healthcare, just make it difficult. I think government needs to almost, as we talked about with regulatory, make it easier, make it less expensive for business to hire folks. And I think that's when you'll see more job creation, along with hopefully a stronger consumer demand, which is also holding back employment.
Educational funding, with educational funding, you support the creation of a foundation budget review commission. Isn't that an added layer of bureaucracy when you're talking about being able to streamline a process overall?
No. I think when they passed education reform, it was part of that act. And the question came to me as to whether I would support amending the formula. And the short answer is no at this time, unless there is an equitable way to do it that does not impact adversely the communities of the 1st Essex District. So it's not actually a layer of bureaucracy. It's something that I think people should look at, and I would be in favor of looking at, and the provision is already in law. So for folks that feel that the formula is not equitable, it would be a way to make their case rather than doing it on an ad hoc basis. We have winners and losers and a process that may not be well thought out. I think this would be an attempt to have a more well thought out process.
With just a little less than a minute left, your take on EBT cards. Should they stay the same? Should they be revised? What should happen? I
think that everybody is in favor of efficient government, and the legislature took some steps in this past session to reform EBTs. I think that we need to see how those reforms work and then take additional steps if need be, to ensure that the EBT cards in the system are being used for what they're designed for, which is to help people that are in real need, and to have folks abusing the system or using them for things that we've all seen in the media is not something that's acceptable, and we need to move the system towards further efficiencies and ensuring that the money's going where it's supposed to go.
Excellent. Bill Manzi, candidate for the 1st Essex Senate seat. Thanks very much for being here. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much for having me.
We'll be back in just a moment. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
I hope that you've listened and learned in an effort to help you decide which candidate to support in the upcoming election. And on Election Day, remember to vote, because if you don't vote, you don't count, and everyone should count. And as always, we hope that this program has been a point of reference for you. And until next time, my name is Frank Novak, and thanks very much for watching.